The board of directors for a troubled Wichita shelter for the homeless has reason tonight to be hopeful about its future. Ronda Schwab joins us now to talk about decisions made today that are aimed at putting the shelter back on the right track. Ronda.
That's correct, Julie. The board of directors for We the People Hometel met in executive session this afternoon and voted on 3 items which the board's president says will have a direct effect on how the shelter is operated. The 13-member board of We the People Hometel voted to accept the resignation of the shelter's executive director, Bruce Cook. Cook was the target of criticism from 4 other Wichita advocates for the needy last December on charges of theft, abuse of residents, and mismanagement. Since then, the shelter has struggled to regain community support.
There's really a need for a shelter.
The board has tentatively decided to replace Cook with 47-year-old native Wichitan James V. Travis.
Has quite an interesting resume. He's a teacher, substituting for the last 2 years in Wichita. Taught at St. John's. He's done a lot of counseling. He's really qualified.
Travis has a master's degree in education, which board members say will be an asset in encouraging shelter residents to further their education. A certified public accountant has also joined the board. Schonifer says the accountant will conduct a full internal investigation of the hometel's books.
No.
And in addition to the action taken today, Schonifer says the board will be working closely with the Wichita Coalition of the Homeless as well as Interfaith Ministries. All of this, of course, aimed at improving the public's perception of the shelter and gaining some federal dollars, which are much needed now that the hometel has begun moving to its new location. And in turn, the residents will benefit, Julie.
Okay. Any word yet tonight as to when the new director will take over?
Yes, Schonifer says he could begin as early as tomorrow. She says all the board has left to do is check Travis's credentials. And I tried to reach both Cook and Travis today, and neither one of them could be reached for comment.
Okay. Thank you, Rhonda. The town of Holton, Kansas.
Winter has finally caught up with us, I think.
It certainly has. Okay, thanks, Kevin. Well, we were talking yesterday about winter coming, and in an act of desperation, Interfaith Ministries had issued an emergency plea for Wichitans to donate food for Operation Holiday. Well, Ronda Schwab spent the morning at the warehouse and joins us now to tell us about how the drive's going.
Kim, so far today, the response has been good, as the generosity of Wichitans is ringing true to form. That emergency plea issued yesterday helped motivate more than a few Wichitans to bring food by this morning.
When I found out that they were short so much, I thought, you know, it's time for everybody to pitch in. Well, I just had a lot of food I wasn't using.
The need is still great. The warehouse is still 94,000 pounds shy of the 136,000 pounds needed to put in the mouths of Wichita's hungry this holiday season. In Hutchinson, response to food drives is down slightly from last year. Workers think it is due to a big response to a Boy Scout food drive in November.
If it hadn't been for them, why, I think we would be hurting right now.
Both communities are hoping for the giving spirit of its citizens to respond big in the next few days. And the Wichita warehouse still needs volunteers to help box the food that is coming in, Kim.
What about the one family we showed everyone yesterday?
We had a great response to that family that we showed last night at 6 o'clock, and they have been taken care of. And they hope that other people that wanted to donate to them will donate to the Kansas Food Bank warehouse.
Okay, some good news to come back from everybody's generosity. Thanks a lot. I'll tell you what, we'll be back with your markets in just a moment.
This is CBS.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News, a young Wichitan is being held responsible for a dorm fire deliberately set.
A discrimination suit against Edgewood County brought a verbal protest to the county courthouse.
And Ronda Schwab, live at the Kansas Food Bank warehouse. We'll see how Wichitans respond to an emergency plea for help. All this and more up next on Eyewitness News.
Hundreds of Wichita families will go hungry this holiday season if food donations to Operation Holiday don't pick up soon. That was the emergency plea issued yesterday by Interfaith Ministries, which sponsors the Matthew Food Drive. Ronda Schwab joins us now live to show us how Wichitans have responded. Ronda?
Roger, you see volunteers packing food behind me right now, and it is fair to say that Wichitans are responding, but to what degree has yet to be determined. Here's a look at today's activities. Soon after the emergency plea went out yesterday, Wichitans began digging into their pocketbooks and pouring out their hearts to those in need.
Heard they were real low on the food that they needed, so we wanted to come out and help.
You have plenty of time to pitch in. Volunteer packers have been a little busier today after more than 5,900 pounds of food were brought in from last night's drive. And a steady stream of donators have come by the warehouse since early this morning.
And we've brought in over 11,000 pounds. We're still short about 87,000 pounds. We have to have 130,000 pounds to finish this project.
Operation Holiday begins delivering food to the needy next Monday.
And Roger, as of about 5 minutes ago, Virginia Bell told me they have collected 50,000 pounds of food, and they need 130,000 pounds to be delivered by next Monday, so they still have a great need. Roger, back to you.
All right, thank you, Rhonda.
Wichita certainly came through for us.
And a very good Sunday evening, everyone. I'm Dave Simon, filling in for Julie Becker tonight. Don't plan on doing any bank or postal service business tomorrow because those federal offices will be closed in remembrance of the birthday of Martin Luther King, Jr. Wichita held its own commemorative celebration in honor of the slain black civil rights leader today. Ronda Schwab joins us now to tell us all about that. Rhonda.
Right. Dave, this is the fourth year that Wichitans have come together in a citywide birthday celebration in honor of Dr. King. And what a celebration it was. This year's theme, The Dream, Our Youth, Hope, and Future. Here's a look at how it was played out. Youth from various Wichita schools lent their voices and song to kick off the evening's event.
We have to remember that when God sent Martin Luther King, he sent to us a man who above all gave us hope.
The keynote speaker, an energetic former director of the National Rainbow Coalition, called attention to the struggle waged in the black community since Dr. King's death 21 years ago. And he said it's the responsibility of the generation who began that battle to educate the youth of today.
A man who could have been a middle-class, comfortable preacher sitting back in a pulpit making big dollars. But he risked it all and he gave us hope, the hope to stand up and be somebody, and to take on the great bastions of segregation in this nation.
His rousing speech was followed by an awards presentation by the Martin Luther King Jr. Awards Committee.
The recipient of the 1989 Martin Luther King Award of Courage is Aretha A. Stout.
But I went a lot of days working for everybody that wanted help.
The Kansas City Cobras, a drum and marching group, stole the show with their dynamic mix of dance and gymnastics to a high-powered beat.
Dave, I want to tell you, when those folks came out on Henry Levitt Arena floor, that place was hopping.
But I understand there was also some controversy out there because some high school students who were supposed to show to join in the youth choir did not show after all.
That's correct. Dave, the choir director, expressed openly her disappointment that it did not turn out as they planned a multi-ethnic choir, which may indicate some work needs to be done in the education area.
Okay, thank you very much, Rhonda. Folks were joining in celebration of the late King's birthday all around the nation today.
Area's #1 rated new news.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kevin Nunn.
And I'm Kim Setty. Thank you for joining us. Firefighters are on the scene of a house fire in Newton at this hour. A house fire that apparently has claimed the life of a Newton woman. Ronda Schwab joins us now live from the scene of that fire with the details. Ronda, what's happening up there?
Kim, as you can see, the fire is out now at this house in the 1500 block of East 8th Street in Newton. Firemen were called in shortly after 11 o'clock this morning, and there was reportedly at least one person trapped inside this house, that being the sole resident of the house, an elderly woman. And upon their arrival, firemen found the woman trapped in the bathroom, and the house was filled with smoke. The fire was contained to the bathroom, and the fire chief I spoke with said that a police detective has been called in to investigate. Now, at this time, he says they're not sure what exactly caused the fire. They're just saying that it is a suspicious fire. A detective has been called in, as I said, and also the coroner has been called in to proclaim the woman officially Dad and Tim and Kevin, that's about all we have right now. To throw it back to you now.
Rhonda, apparently the fire was deceiving. The house itself doesn't look like there's much damage to it.
No, that it was contained to the bathroom area right here at this house, and firemen said they can't tell what caused the fire. There was no space heater in the bathroom. He said there were some rags in the area that may have been on fire. They don't know exactly what caused it. They're investigating, and as those details become available, we'll get them to you as soon as possible.
All right, thank you very much. Ronda Schwab reporting live from Newton. Kev.
Wichita.
In other news, one of your Sedgwick County Commissioners is the target of a lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Ronda Schwab joins us now to explain who and why.
Susan, Commissioner Bud Henson is being sued, along with several other former members of the Kansas City Bank Board. The FDIC suit claims Henson, who served as a director of the Kansas American Bank from 1977 to 1984, should help repay some $4.3 million in bad loans the FDIC says he approved. He resigned from the board when he was elected to the Sedgwick County Commission. The bank was declared insolvent in 1985. The FDIC says some of that money includes loans which Henson made to his own construction company. The obviously distraught county commissioner defended himself against those charges in an afternoon news conference, saying the federal agency is searching for a scapegoat.
You won't see the regulatory agencies say that anything is their fault in the disaster that their savings and loan industry is in. Even the FAA. You've heard how many excuses over the years about air safety and different things like that, but it's never their fault.
And Henson pointed out that he was only a 5% stockholder and he was never an officer of the bank.
What about, though, the bad loans that the FBI says that Henson made to his own company?
Okay, Henson answered those charges by saying all of the loans which he received were repaid, and at the news conference he showed us the canceled checks which showed a payment in full of his last loan. So he says all the county commissioners are in full support of him. They're standing by him at this time.
Bound to hear more about it. Thank you.
It was 25 years ago today that the Surgeon General issued his warning that smoking cigarettes can be hazardous to your health. Though some have been slow to heed that warning, Ronda Schwab reports on a woman who is at last living a smoke-free life.
Christmas Eve. If we're going to play cards all night, we're going to have to put Mike and Audrey out in the backyard because they're the only smokers.
Sandy Smith decided a long time ago to quit smoking. Following up on that desire has been the hard part.
To be in the sorority and stuff, we smoked. But, you know, then all of a sudden it began. I remember when the Surgeon General came out and said, you know, this can kill you. Wait a minute, they didn't tell me that when I started smoking.
An admittedly nervous person, Smith is a single parent with the difficult task of preparing a teenage son for college and raising a teenage daughter. She said she used her cigarette habit as a means of calming down.
It's been hard being a mom to two teenagers alone. And then to realize that I was willing to die and leaving no parents was really a bad, horrible, you know, when my attorney goes, so you're preparing to die. The opposite of that was, oh, I'm not willing to live. I'd rather have my drugs.
Smith got the help she needed at a stop smoking clinic held here at the Sedgwick County Health Department. She has been smoke-free for about a month now.
That's in a third of it.
Judy Reno teaches a stop smoking class and offers her view on why she thinks more and more people are trying to kick the smoking habit.
It's just not becoming socially acceptable, and we are social beings and like to be accepted.
If I have to go to a meeting or even into a movie or a theater, I think, okay, now I have to sit there for this long without smoking, and so you're always thinking, can I do that? And so what a freedom. I don't have to worry.
Smith hopes that others will follow her lead. Ronda Schwab, Eyewitness News, Wichita.
The American Cancer Society estimates that 40 million people have quit smoking in the past 25 years. We don't have room for all of them to be on News Talk, but one of those 40 million is with us now. She joins Ronda Schwab. Ronda?
Thank you, Roger. First of all, we want to welcome Judy Reno. She is the reigning president of the Sedgwick County unit of the American Cancer Society, and today is a big day for her. Before we get to your phone calls, we want to tell you where you can get some help if you want to quit smoking as a New Year's resolution or anything else. The American Cancer Society is offering some stop smoking clinics, and the first one that you can attend begins January 3rd at 4:30 through 6 p.m., and that will be at the Health Department. And it continues each Tuesday for 4 weeks, and then another class will start up in February?
Yes.
Okay. Judy, we've got the lines lit up, so we're going to go ahead and go to the phone.
Yes.
All right. You're on News Talk. Your question, please.
Yes, good evening. I was calling because I ordered the cigarette program, and I've received it because this is my resolution, and I also promised my children. But I want to know, how do you feel when you have these, I can't be sick? That's the thing I'm worried about. And I want to know how do it make you feel?
People react in a lot of different ways, but because you're not smoking, you're going to start getting more oxygen in your body, so you may feel lightheaded. Some people even complain that they have trouble sleeping. Your toes and your fingers might tingle because it's getting oxygen for the first time. And funny enough, because you quit smoking, you may even cough more than when you were smoking because your lungs are waking up and getting rid of all that gunk in it. Those are the most frequent. Sometimes headaches are experienced.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question. We'll go on to our next call. You're on News Talk. Your question, please.
Yes, can you tell me how you go about calling these people to get an appointment to get in, or what do you have to do?
Thank you for asking that. You may call 268-8441 and register for that January 3rd class. If you miss that class, we have one every month at the Health Department. Just call and we'll send you a schedule.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
You're on News Talk. Your question, please.
Yes, I'd like to ask, I have a father-in-law who's 52, and he recommends that you drink a lot and smoke. What do you think of that, Cheer?
Drink a lot and smoke? I don't like smoking. And drinking can cause its problems.
Okay, we'll go on to the next call. You're on News Talk. Your question or comment, please. Nobody's there. We'll go on to the next call. You're on News Talk. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to ask Judy. I'm a non-smoker, but how can I help someone else quit smoking? Is there anything I can do?
Oh, that's a really good question, because we need help when we're quitting smoking. First, be very understanding and give them support. It feels good to have a pat on the back. But gosh, you quit for a day, that's fantastic. Give them little survival kits of sugar-free gum and mints and sticks of cinnamon to chew on. Help them, even go for a walk with them. Exercise is fantastic. Just help them in whatever it is they feel is helping them quit smoking. And thank you for asking that.
Thank you.
That's a good point. Sandy Smith mentioned that she quit smoking as a gift of life for her family.
Isn't that fantastic?
And they rewarded her, and they're just supportive of her, and she stays away from smokers. And she says that really helps.
It does, especially when you first start smoking. You need to not be motivated to smoke.
All right, okay, we've got another call. Go ahead, you're on News Talk.
Hi, this is Shirley Rose. Judy, I quit smoking cold turkey. Did you advise that?
Yes, we found that's the best way. Now, some people can't do it. I quit cold turkey, too. Put it down and never picked it up again. But there are some people that doesn't work, and we have some other suggestions. If they want to come to class, we'll give it to them.
Thank you.
What about over the holiday season? There's some parties this weekend. People are trying to quit smoking, but what are they going to do with their hands, they say?
I believe you got to plan what you're going to do, you know, to know that when I have a drink, I'm going to smoke, but I have decided not to smoke, so what am I going to do? You know, I choose then maybe not to go to the party that night, or I choose to only socialize with those who aren't smoking, or I choose to pick up a carrot stick and hold it between my fingers.
Good idea. Okay. Got another call here? Go ahead, you're on News Talk.
Yes, I was having very multiple and I quit smoking. And I want to know what you meant by putting down cold turkey or whatever when you were talking about it.
Well, thanks for asking. Cold turkey means you put down your cigarette and never pick up another one. Some people will smoke 10 today, 9 tomorrow, you know, and taper down to none. But cold turkey means you may have been smoking 20 today and you quit and never had another.
Let's have a lot of motivation.
Yeah.
Got one more call here? Go ahead, you're on News Talk.
I just want to say, I said I want 3 years ago, we'll be married, and the point I want to make is you have to want to do it. You can't just say, I do it. If you make up your mind you really, really want to do it, you can do it. And I did too, cold turkey too.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I guess I would want to say, if you even have a slight urge, I'd like for you to get to class and let's build that urge even bigger.
Okay, we're just about out of time, but once again, the number where people can call to get more information on the class.
Call either the Cancer Society at 685-3333 or the Health Department, and that's in the blue pages of your phone book.
Okay, thank you very much, Judy Reno. Back to you, Rod.